Hello everyone!
Hello everyone! Oops.
Mahtab. So, second stream of the day. We have a lot to do. Recipe app. What have you done the last time, Mahtab? Tell us.
First of all, hello everyone and welcome back to another session for our recipe app.
So true.
Yeah, we did a lot max last time. I think what we did was we mainly worked with the categories, which means at the moment, can you maybe open the app, Max?
The application?
Yeah,
sure.
the application.
For that,
I think
I have to restart the application for a second. I will take the the Android emulator.
Okay. So, meanwhile, maybe we can explain a little bit about everything.
Yeah.
What we did is, hey Ayush.
Hey Ayush.
So what we did is, for now, we can add new categories to our application.
Okay.
We can delete categories from our application, and we prevent that the user be able to create two same categories in our application.
Okay.
And what we did, what was the other thing? I think we did two important stuff. One of them was that the user can't be Oh.
So we have, of course, a problem again. So let's start with that first before we start the application.
Okay.
So we have a problem with Dart-X, it seems. Where does this come from now?
Dart-X.
So we have a dependency override somewhere, I think, this one. So I will remove that for now. Let's see if we can get the package now.
Okay. How are you doing, Ayush?
Exactly.
We can speak with our community.
Yeah, but it looks good. So it seems that there was just an update in the meantime.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did we do?
Now the user is able to create new category, to delete the category, and what we did additionally was to prevent the user to create two same categories.
Oh yeah, with the same name, right?
With the same name, exactly.
Okay, very good.
And I'm not sure what was the other thing, but I'm pretty sure that we did also something else.
Okay, so hopefully this builds now, it looks good. Then we can show you also the UI in that case. But we made a lot of steps the last time. I think we had also the creation of categories, right? We had all that stuff.
And now I know, we made it possible that our categories are sorted, and when the user creates a new category, that will appear at the end of the category list. So it's not randomly anymore.
So as you can see, we have now like some self-created categories down here, besides of our standard ones, where we start with A, and we have also going further and further, and
a nice transition.
Yeah, that nice transition. I hope we can get rid today of that. But if we make now make a long press on this category, we have this nice little UI, right? Where we can delete our category. And if we press that nice little button called delete, we can really remove that category. That is good. But what is missing at the moment that we couldn't finish the last time is a notification. So what I would do is maybe start with that and then work our way higher, and we can maybe do more stuff.
Perfect.
Tips for beginner Flutter developers. I think I can give you the question, Mahtab.
To be honest, we are working at the moment on a new video tutorial exactly for this topic. How the beginners can start with Flutter development. You can be curious about this video, but I will also explain a little bit what I collected till now and what information I would like to share with you guys in this video. And I also create a poll in my Twitter and ask other developers what they would suggest a beginner. How should you start with the Flutter development? If you guys this is what now we know till now. If you guys have some programming background, I think the best way is to start with the Flutter documentation. directly because the Flutter documentation is amazing. They are pretty short, they are very clear, and you can also find some code example directly in the documentation. And beside of that, there is also some code labs.
Hey, coding guy.
From the Flutter community, or Flutter team actually, that maybe I can just post it. I will post the link after that. There are many code labs that you can just learn a lot from this code lab. If you start with one of them, for example, they will bring you through the whole project step by step. So you can directly see how you should implement everything and you will learn a lot. And additionally to all of them, there is also some very, very nice and good courses in Udemy, such as the Flutter, what was Max the name, from the Angela Yu?
That is Flutter Bootcamp 2020, I think.
Yes, for example. Or there's also from Maximilian, there is another course, I don't know the name right now. It's also a very good course. Yeah. And now the question is, if you have any background or not. If you don't have any programming background, maybe the best way is to start at first a little bit with Dart language, and after that jump into Flutter.
Okay.
Long story short, jump into the code.
All right, so I wanted actually to start with the notification that we can show something, but somehow I make some light. Ah, look at that. But somehow I got confused by our code. And because our code is a bit unstructured, I want to start by creating some widgets for this stuff. Because as you can see, this is our dashboard screen right now. And tell me now, where exactly is the delete function on that screen? Can you point me to it?
We should have somewhere a gesture detector, Max.
Somewhere we have a gesture detector, that's right.
Is the
but what I would like to have is more understanding how our things are structured, right? We know now, okay, we have a sliver here, and this is already quite some responsibility for, we have also a scaffold, interesting, but we have all that stuff here in this dashboard screen. And what I would like to do is now creating like smaller widgets for the different parts, right?
So do you want to refactor or code that first?
Bit,
Go for it. I think it's a good...
My first step here, because it looks very hard, especially if you see something like this. I think it could be a good idea to change the widget tree a little bit. Okay, so but first I have to understand what we have here actually.
Here we go. Look at that. This is a gesture detector.
All right.
But I talk about it.
So let's have a look. So you mean this gesture detector?
Yeah, and on long press. We have it on long press. That was on top of that.
Okay, and here's the wave border. So actually this whole thing with the slide transition and anything, this is actually our waveboard card, right? That we can click. So if we are on an emulator, this is the whole part here, right?
Yes.
So we have that long click, show dialog with all that stuff inside. And look at that, we have that whole alert dialog also part of that widget now. So even that dialog could be maybe our first widget that we
widget.
Extract, exactly. Yeah, the keyboard, you know.
Yeah.
So I will start with that and create for this an own file somewhere.
We have widgets, right?
Yes, I think what I did is now I created a folder inside of screens, because this one is at the moment still coupled to the dashboard screen and will not use somewhere else. And as soon as it will be used somewhere else, I will move it to the widgets folder down here, for example. So then it has more structure in it.
Yeah.
So what we can do is here adding the, how do we call it? Delete dialog? Is the good name?
Actually it's the alert dialog. Because the delete functionality will happen in the gesture detector. So, and the long press.
So on the show dialog, you mean the deletion happens on that flat button that is inside. So this is the delete button. But that whole dialog has something to do with the delete functionality, right? So everything that happens inside of this show dialog is the deletion of the category.
Okay, so
I would
delete
call that,
dialog. Yeah.
I think delete dialog makes or category delete dialog.
Category with wait. Category maybe with Y.
Yep, thank you.
So Thanks, go for it. And
Yep.
I hope that I could answer your question. We have Vaya. In the coding guy said, I recently started learning Go from educative.io. It has some very pretty good courses. Great, amazing. I didn't hear about that, to be honest, but there are many good courses out there. Hi, Mehmet.
So, what is happening here? I think here's delete category with category model. Okay, so we get this category model from there. I'm sorry that I'm right now a bit quiet. I just tried.
That's right.
To...
I will speak. Hi, Arvani. How are you doing, guys?
So what is happening? We get an index. This is the index of the element. What we can do is passing this whole thing inside, I think. So wherever we use it, it will be here. We have that category delete dialog. And we can import that. Voila. And hey everyone, nice to see you. So what we are doing at the moment is we try to extract and clean up our application a little bit. So you maybe remember this, and now this dialog that we show when we long press that will be now an own widget, because for now that is a little bit too big, that whole thing. And when we can see this here, this is the app provider categories. This is the current category with the wave border card. Okay, so this is what we have to pass down here. And inside of here we have the final, that is a model, right? I think category model is the name. Category model. And because it's stateless, it is final, of course, and we create a constructor for that. Cool. And this category model is now replaced by whatever we have here in that place. Category model. Ah, you made a tweet.
You just created tweets.
I see everything.
Yeah, that everyone can join us. Okay.
All right. So up here we can now, and as you can see, it is required, right? So this category model can't be empty, else the whole thing makes no sense. So I add this required flag here. Yep, you're right. And inside of the dashboard screen, we now have to pass down the category model, which is this one.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Cool. And with that, our category delete dialog is still working like before, but we just cleaned it a little bit up, that we have more space. And you see, we already reduced this part here. And I think that makes so much sense that we can now, okay,
it's much more clean.
Yeah, maybe we can even go further with that. I'm just wanted to start somewhere because it was pretty heavy to read.
Yeah, Max, I like your new theme.
Yeah, you like it? It's pretty good, I think.
I think it's also easier for you guys to read our code. Isn't it?
Let's hope it.
Give us some feedback.
Maybe nobody felt it like that at the moment. I don't know. Additionally, what should I show you what I did? You maybe remember that we had these documents where people can now work with us together. And inside of our chat, we have now the possibility to make exclamation mark doc, for example, video. And you receive, after a second or something, we receive now the document link so that everyone can join and participate. Cool. What is the Flutter favorite and Java?
What is your favorite IDE for Flutter and Java?
Maybe start you, because I know you have there a big preference.
So, I like Android Studio.
So IntelliJ, JetBrains.
So IntelliJ and JetBrains is my favorite one.
Okay. So and for me it is absolutely IntelliJ for both. From one is it the perfect usage of the whole Git implementation that I really like, and on the other hand the amazing smartness that it brings with extraction of widgets and all that stuff. Or not only widgets, but also methods, variables, and all that kind of stuff that is sadly not that good provided in others.
So, Mehmet said, I like your courses. We are more than happy to hear that. Thank you very much. And
sure, default settings is pretty easy. I can show you that. You will find it under Appearance, and there you have the theme up here. And there you can just select all the themes that there are. The default one will be Darkula. Or you can just delete the theme itself. You're welcome. Cool. So, but what I see is we access this app provider category index quite a lot, right? So I think we pass that down here in the category delete dialog. So where do we get this app provider actually from? I think that comes from up here, right? So we have here the app provider, the list view. So that whole inkwell is something, or that means this is clickable. It has a child with a container. So all this part here, which is most likely very serious big, could be an own widget, I think.
What is this one? Which one is this inkwell?
This is what we have to identify. I don't know.
Okay. So we have a container down.
So it is a list view separated.
Okay, this is which create our different categories.
So this is a category actually.
Yeah.
So
and why do we have inkwell?
I think because when we click it, then the change notifier provider is getting called to add, to navigate
to the add category screen.
Exactly, to the other screen.
But do you want actually to take the inkwell out, or do you want just to take, for example, the container out?
In that case, I would really take everything out.
Really?
Yeah, because I want the whole inkwell is also part of the categories, right? So if we take a look into our emulator and cancel this one, what we see with that inkwell is that the list view separated is this part here, right? So that whole lower section that I can scroll here. And what I want to do now is for each of these cards that we create here to create an own widget. And this inkwell is this widget, you know?
Okay.
So the only thing is, or is it like that? Do I tell the truth?
I think so.
So the item builder, for every item we navigate.
And the container with the 8 circle is for this empty category that we have. Okay,
so this is not completely true what I said. This is just the first one. So this is the last item that we have, and the end. This is not all of them, this is just the ending. This is this plus icon here.
So that means the inkwell is just surrounded the last container with the plus icon.
Correct, yes. So it is an add category. Okay. No resetting the specific theme. So you played around in the theme and you want to reset it. It's a good question. I have no idea, to be honest. I've never done something like that.
Oh, Julio, you said actually that. Thank you very much at first for subscribing, Zakaria. And Julio, you said actually you like also Android Studio. It's amazing, but I don't know why your message is retracted. What does it mean?
He removed something.
He removed some. Yeah. Okay, yourself.
I think that is, or he tried something like linking or something. But I think that's all.
It's not from our Streamline, or?
I hope so.
Okay.
You never know.
I hope that we don't remove your answer. Okay, sorry, Max.
How do we call these cards, these category cards?
The last one.
Yeah, how do we call something like that? I thought about add category, but add category what card?
Add category...
widget?
Okay, the fire is better than just stars. So, add category... Widget or no? Add category card, I think.
Card?
Or I think...
Yep, that's fine.
I would say.
I just want to know. So, and this add category card should be quite independent, but add category card can then be part of here. It's also just existent on the dashboard. So add category, category card dot, which is again a stateless widget, and it's called add category card. Wow, what a name. We import material in that case, and I replace that inkwell with it. So if this is all going a bit fast, I can explain you more if you like, but at the moment I just want to clean up everything a little bit, because the last couple of times we came mostly into troubles that we searched the right places, and I think today was the same, and I didn't feel well with that. Cool. So, and you see, we don't have any dependency here, so that's fantastic. Perfect. That means that this here can be imported.
Yeah.
and we are immediately smaller, right? So everything is way easier to read. We know now, okay, this is the list separated. We could even create for that whole consumer, even for that constraint box maybe, an own widget that we call category list, right? So because everything that has to do with the category list lives inside of this constraint box. At least this is what I think, right? Because we have that height placeholder everywhere, which is a weird name. What does it do? The height placeholder is a size box. Okay, fantastic. But this whole part here with the constraint box, with the consumer and the list view, is now actually the whole part here with the, I think, without the, you're very welcome. Hey, from Pakistan. You see, we are globally, everyone knows that.
It's amazing, guys.
Greetings from Germany in that case. So the text up here is not part of it. This is this one. But everything below that is this constraint box. So we could create also for this an own widget.
Can you maybe close the constraint box?
Can I close the constraint box? You are so welcome. Of course I can.
Hello, Flutterists.
So down.
Okay, so it's actually really. Okay.
Yeah, and with that we would resolve like 60 lines of code out of this class, and that would make it so much easier to read, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then we know where we have to look for the different stuff.
What's included in this constraint box?
In this one, we have a consumer for our provider package, I assume.
Yeah.
Where we have our app provider access. Let's say I have 3, and I keep you with reading. I think I'm here on that.
Explain it first, this one.
Yeah.
So we have a consumer.
We have the consumer. We have a list view. That is the one that we can scroll. We have now that add category card, which is the last part of the categories part. And we have a gesture detector where we show the dialog, where we have that category delete dialog inside. And then we have this wave border card, and this is the card itself finally. Okay.
Okay. Can you show maybe in the app?
Yeah, sure.
Everyone can see that.
So
okay,
the wave border card is this part here. Yeah.
Okay.
Then we have the navigator. This is what happens on tab. So we navigate somewhere, and we made that super complicated with transition builder and multiple stuff. And I think I will delete that. You know, with that removal of this transition builder, we could get rid of that whole transition that we don't like. So if we click it, it's like, even though it's so beautiful, but
okay.
Cool. Create a video on block the 6.something. Okay. I'm still working on the state management series. Will take a while because at the moment we are a riverpod.
Yeah, after riverpod.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Then maybe a block. Let's see.
But I think it's this topic is also in the video document.
Yeah, absolutely. App provider, exactly. And as you see, everything of it accesses this app provider category. So it would be fantastic if this is out of our main dashboard screen.
Amazing, Max. Go for it.
Okay.
And in the meanwhile, the coding guy said, what is the best way to pass data on multiple pages? Let's say I have 3 screens and I have to pass data from screen 1 to screen 2, then collect from some user input on second page and pass to third one. Can you please answer my question?
Sure, we can.
Yeah.
Okay,
what is the best way to pass data
on multiple pages, 3 screens? Well, that sounds fantastic, like state management, right?
Yeah,
so you have 3 screens. You want to have one state across all 3 screens. You enter a value that you change the state. You keep it, for example, in a provider that can be accessed in all 3 screens. And after that, you just access the provider from one of these screens. And that's the best way to do that.
The provider gonna be the easiest way, I would say.
The provider is one way, right? Because state management is a very opinionated topic. So I don't give you any best ways here. I just give you a way. And provider would be a solution. Riverpod would be a solution. Block is working. MobX, Qubit, Redux, all of them. You just have to make sure that all 3 screens have access to that store or data at the end.
State management is really, really complicated.
Actually, it doesn't have to be. It is. I think the biggest problem with state management is that everyone tries to find the best solution, and instead
I think
of just
sometimes also the complicated way.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with us engineers, right? We love to dig deep in stuff. So whenever we find something new, for example, in Shiny, we start to investigate and we want to, let's do that. And even though that it not necessarily solve our problem best, or even if it looks complicated, sometimes we like that because it's
I think I listened last week or 2 weeks ago to a podcast from the Roddy Davis podcast series, and I don't know anymore who was talking, but he told also, maybe that was Roddy Davis. He told also we don't have to make it so complicated. So maybe it's enough at first when we start in our application just with stateless and the stateful widget, and it's more than enough at the beginning. And when we think that maybe it's gonna be too messy, start to use, for example, provider. And if this is solve all your problem, so you don't have to fight with Mobix or any other complicated solution. So just be satisfied and just try to solve your problem and don't make it over-engineer, as Max said.
Yeah, I think that is the most crucial part at the end, and it can solve so many problems if you do that right. So I want to create a variable for this category part because we have that all over the place. So this is our category that we are working on. And I think as soon as we get the index, we can create this category. And we can use it. Is it with Y? I think it's with Y, right?
Yeah, one category and more categories with IES.
Perfect. Thank you.
So the Flutter said, "Hey Max, I solved all my problem." Really? Amazing.
That fast?
So I just clapped for him. No.
He solved all his problems?
Yeah.
Great.
This is amazing to hear.
Yeah.
And state management is okay. Thanks, you're welcome. Block guys changed something and now I am not able to change anything. So many errors.
So the block guys, I think you mean Felix Angelov.
Yeah.
He's amazing guys. I think if you have a problem, he can most likely help you. So if you are on Stack Overflow or on Twitter, you can maybe write him and he will answer you probably. Or in the worst case, add it to an issue if you think it is a problem with the framework itself.
So Flutters, you're welcome. Max, do you want to explain anything?
Oh yeah.
I speak too much.
Yeah, what did I do? I created a field.
Too much.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, go for it. But Max is quite angry with me, I think.
I'm
my
not
questions, right?
Anyone? No, I'm completely happy. Last week was just a bit struggling because I had less time than usual, and so it was a bit difficult to answer all questions that I receive every day. And so what I did is creating now this category, which is from type category model. I just want to make that explicit. So, and I just extracted that up here because we access the app provider here with the categories and access an index. And actually, I don't really like this solution, but
what's going on? Why?
The problem is we access always the categories down here in the list, right, that we receive. It would be fantastic if we have something like get me a specific category, you know, by an index or by an ID or something. But because we have the index here, I think we have no other way than doing it like that at the moment. And
I would say it solves at the moment our problem.
Yes, you're right. And that's why I want to get rid of the transition builder, because we just wanted to from one screen to another, and now we have that complicated thing here. But for now, it's fine. It's fine.
I think maybe I will take a look, because I got, after the session where we built this transition, I got a message from a guy. Sorry, I don't know anymore what his name is, but I will have a look. And he introduced me an amazing code pen where he built some transition.
Okay.
And maybe I will have a look, and in the next session we can maybe implement his code here.
That sounds fantastic. Should I turn that a little bit? Make Mahtab also bright? So. Okay, so here are some to-dos, and I think they are already done. Like navigator.pop sounds like you closed that dialog already.
Closed the dialog, yeah.
So are you happy with me if I remove this to-do?
Yeah, go for it. I did so many stuff.
Fantastic. So if we go inside, I just want to show that nothing works anymore.
Okay.
Because I forgot to replace that with our new category list widget.
Okay.
Too much.
And import it.
Yes, indeed. Voila. So, and as you see now, with all these widgets gone, you see this part here is already way smaller. You see, sorry, all the dependencies that are gone, all that is gray here, can be
so this is now
removed.
Steuerung is command.
Yeah. Why do you need a keyboard shortcut?
No, I wanted just to tell people how did you remove all
what you can do is just Command Shift and A, and after that you just say import or no clean import or something. Organize import. You see, I'm here, optimize imports, and there you see the shortcut for it. And unfortunately, I don't know it always, so yeah. I just press it because I have at the moment this nice little Windows keyboard, and we work on a Mac computer, and this makes it super confusing at times. So we can't really give you the shortcuts without looking at them up ourselves. In the meantime, we have now that category delete. I just want to take a look. Oh, look at that. It works. It
works, and we have less than 100 lines of code
inside of the dashboard.
Inside of our dashboard.
Fantastic. I mean,
great work, Max.
So this is what I like now because at this moment we have the possibility to have a clean space. We can work in everything. That's pretty cool.
Perfect.
Okay, so next, what I wanted to solve actually is these two to-dos, right? Delete a category in DB. I thought you did that already.
I felt the same. We can delete it.
Jeez, there are no work at the end anymore for me to do. What have you done?
We sure delete all recipes in these categories. So we should at first, I think, add some recipes to our category, and after that we can come to this.
This stays actually, right?
Yeah.
So fantastic. So here we call the delete category and we delete, that's fine, and I think that is okay. Alert dialog, that's fine, that works, okay. So after we have deleted the dialog, do we want to show a message?
I think it's good to show that, or at least when the user tries to add a new category with the same name, and it's actually not possible in the application, so the user should get some hint that there is some errors and why it can't happen. But before that, maybe we should...
Exactly, I found an issue somewhere. So
range error.
I'm not quite sure. It has to be in the categories list, that's good. So here we have a range error at the moment. So this one is trying to access too early. The problem is, if you remember, we have this part here where we say we want to have additionally one category length so that we can pass one element behind. And if I now try to access inside of categories, the last index, so like all the list plus one, we are out of bounds. So what we want to do is adding that here. Yeah. Because in that area we can have that. And because here is the return, so if this part is getting ever true, then we are anyway finished, so we will never come to this line of code.
So that was too early to execute that.
Correct. So you see immediately it works. Fantastic. So let's delete another category. That looks good. And this seems pretty fantastic now.
And now it's time again. I think I missed one comment from the coding guy. I was trying to use a stream provider in Riverpod, but didn't find something in the docs. If you can include that in your Riverpod video, it would be very useful.
The stream provider. Yeah, I used the stream provider also once. The good thing is that all the providers are actually the same like before, right? They still work the same like before.
Yeah.
I can try that, but I have to be careful because I don't know what Remy has for a big announcement to make till next week. As you could see, the Riverpod video got postponed from this Tuesday.
Did you wrote that in the community? Did you
write
it?
I wrote it in the community tab, and because Remy was writing me that I should wait maybe a week.
Before you create another deprecated video.
Yes, because I'm very quick with deprecated videos, unfortunate. But yeah, so I would take that into account. But what you could do actually is putting that on the open video topics, because I think down here somewhere we have state management, like here. And one part of state management would be provider/Riverpod. There you could add like the stream provider. Fantastic.
Max did it for you.
Yeah, but if you want to add something there, you have all writing access here, so commentator access, so you can just add it if you want to. All right.
Perfect. You're welcome.
So this is working. So what I wanted to do is showing a message whenever we delete a category for now. And if we want, if we get that error message, because I think if we add a category, not here, I think we have that somewhere else. Inside of our save category.
Yes.
Here. So down here in the add category screen. So in add category screen, we have this save category that we call.
The save successful, right?
Exactly. When we have successful saved, it would be fantastic to get like a toast message. And also if we don't save successfully, if we get an error, right?
Yeah.
Also then we want to inform the customer.
I think last time I tried that with the snack bar, but it didn't work.
Yeah, because we found out that we have a scaffold here.
We didn't have...
Did we not complain that we don't have a scaffold?
Yeah, I thought the same.
No problem, AKS. We made a project the last couple of months now already. Wow. So it's
couple of weeks, months.
Ninth episode here. And what we want to do is we need a scaffold key. All right, I will try that. And what we did is creating a recipe app, or we create slowly a recipe app where we can just save our recipe by name with the categories that we created, and they are already here in the list. And we can do that all here. So this is the idea, and at the moment we are trying to work on the different categories. And scaffold key is a very good question.
Sorry,
no worries. I've never used them. So
what is scaffold key?
What I know is if we want to send a snack bar, right? We would create that. So I make here for now an else part, so it is easier to read for. Sorry, keyboard. No.
The 8.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what we can do is creating a snack bar itself, but it cannot live for itself, right? Because it needs to be sent somewhere. And what we usually do when we want to send something like that, we would have a scaffold. So, but we cannot create a scaffold here just to show a snack bar. We want to take the scaffold that surrounds our application.
Yeah.
So for this, we can access the context. So we say scaffold.off, and then we can ask for the context here in that case. So that would work. But the last time we had the problem that we can now say show snack bar, and we now pass down the snack bar itself. In our case, we use this one.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that. So in 99% of the cases it would work fine, especially because we have a snack bar surrounding everything. And here inside we have like content, which can be any widget, like a search bar, like a row. We can have everything here. And then in the content, what we can do is writing a text. So for example, error occurred. Very informative, but we will improve that hopefully soon.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to show you actually is that we currently don't see that snack bar. We don't get this information. So that means when we delete now and delete it, then you see we don't get anything. And the reason is...
Max, this is not with delete, this is with add.
In that case, oh yeah, you're right. So,
and this is just happen when we have the same name.
If I add rice, for example, right? So if I add here rice and say submit, which is a very ugly screen, I have to admit. So we don't get any message, but we don't get navigated to, right?
Yeah.
So we jump here inside. I can prove you that by a print. Hello world. Voila. Or what I do is usually lulu, right?
Yeah.
And whenever I do now the submit again on rice, whoa, everything crashes. Interesting. The context used was in add category. Okay, cool. There is no scaffold ancestor found.
Okay, and the coding guy said you can pass a scaffold key to scaffold and access it somewhere else to show snack bar.
Okay. So that is one option, and I think the one that we could do, absolutely. Yeah. The scaffold off doesn't work because this scaffold is in the same build method. So this context does not know anything about this context that is below here. So one solution would be that we surround that submit button in an own builder or in an own widget. And with that, we would get rid of that problem and we would show it again. But I like the idea of coding guy, and because I've never tried it so far, I really want to try that. So this scaffold has a key, I assume, And you mean that this key can be a unique key. So let's create a global key, I assume. Or is it a scaffold key even? No. Okay, so I assume it is a global key from a type.
Key?
Maybe scaffold state? I'm not sure. What I should do is, in these problems, if I don't know it, I have to Google it. So Flutter scaffold key. So within the widget that builds it. Okay, so fantastic. Builder widget, that is the part that I thought, that we can have a builder widget and then just build the part where we want to show the snack bar.
Okay.
So, but she has the global key with the global scaffold state. Perfect. And then she passes down this key, and you see it's getting into the scaffold. And where she wants to show the part, she says current state, which is then nothing else than this scaffold.
Yeah.
And then access the show snack bar. So, thank you, coding guy. That is the best solution, I think. So 100 points to you. Scaffold key. And thank you to whoever wrote this article. So Katarina,
yeah.
You see, I will also pass that down here, that you have also the joy to read some good content. You're
coding
right.
guy needs some points.
In this area, I have something for you. You know, I can give you points because I am. Sorry, that is again something
the coding
that
guy,
nobody needs,
have
but
53 points.
So where's coding guy? It begins with T. So I know.
What's going on, Max?
That's not necessary.
What do you want to do?
I want to add. I thought that I can do that. Well, it's already unsorted. So I'm currently working in the background. And here you are, coding guy. And what I can do now is the following.
Oh, you can manipulate the numbers and points.
Because
isn't it nice?
And now you can ask your points once more. So you see, everyone gets points now. So global key, scaffold key, and pull the. How can I? No. So this is our scaffold key, and I make that private, right? Because nobody else needs that. And I think I can do the same for that one, but we do that later. And we create a new global key.
Perfect.
Okay, this scaffold key comes down here, and inside of our part where we want to access the scaffold, right here.
Instead of scaffold.off.
Yes,
right?
We will. Oh yeah, you're right. That behind we don't even need. Now we have the part of the current state.
Yeah.
And now we have access to the show snack bar, and if everything works well, and where's our here? And in everything works well in our emulator, when I press now submit, look at that, how beautiful, fantastic.
Great.
That was a great solution. That's cool. All right. So, and with that, we have nearly all the possibilities that we need, because scaffold we have everywhere. I thought in the first place, the last time I told you that we don't have a scaffold above.
Yeah, I thought the same, to be honest.
But it was wrong in what I said. We have it everywhere, right? Which is perfect. I mean, for that, we have a scaffold, right? But if you have not a scaffold, there are a lot of packages. Like, for example, I think getx has also the possibility to show a snack bar without context.
Wow, okay.
And I think I saw a fantastic article from Rezo Coder, and he announced the flush bar? Yeah, flush bar. So that is also exactly the same thing like we show, but also without a context and without the stuff. So it's really cool.
And hi Ayush, again. You can use Builder to provide a different context since key is usually costly.
Oh, really?
Is it costly?
I don't know that. Is that so? So you would say a key is not so good like the builder function. Both methods are possible. I just wanted to try that, and I like the idea because we don't have to search everywhere around. On the other hand, to create a builder context would be also no problem.
But maybe the Katarina said something in her article. So let's have a look and see what she said about it.
All right. But to be honest, I have no doubt that Ayush knows what he's talking about. I didn't know that. Can we find that somewhere in documentation that it's costly? Identifies, provides access to object associated to an element. Widgets have a global key removed.
Global keys are expensive, and in my opinion, it is not a good approach to solve this problem. If there are another 2 approaches that are described above.
Okay, so...
But anyway, let's have a look at how to implement this.
Okay, so with that, I keep with scaffold.context off, because...
But that was nice to
it was
learn
nice
about
to research,
yeah,
because
sure.
I think it is good if we have the possibility. But with that, we just create here a builder widget. And instead of the builder widget has a builder, yeah, fantastic. And that gets a context, and this context now includes our scaffold.
Okay.
So we can be sure that this context knows now about this scaffold here. And because of that, we can access this here with the context, scaffold of context, and access it by getting the show snack bar.
So you just surround, what did you surround?
I just surrounded the submit button that we had at the bottom. Perfect. So we learn everyone here on the screen.
So,
you see?
Sorry, the coding guys, we should remove your 100 points.
Nope. Too much effort.
No, not at all. We learned also from you. Just kidding.
All right. So that is that. We have this in place. I mean, it works. Is it beautiful? I'm still not sure. The problem is, does it make sense to create an own widget for that whole thing? I doubt it, because we have I think it's already an own widget, right? So yeah, it is an own widget that we created. Yeah. So I think it makes no sense to surround that somehow. So I think that builder function is really the best way to resolve that. Okay. We have the access now, and also the positive way. I would also like give the user an information that we show. But here we will get a problem, I think.
What's the problem? Can you maybe read it loud, Max?
Yeah, sorry. I was just writing right now that Remy wrote on Stack Overflow that global keys has a disadvantage to builder. And if we want to make a deep dive, it would be fantastic if you can send me the link, Ayush, on Twitter or Discord, so we can add that here in the chat. If you have the time, if you have that somewhere. All right, so here we will get a problem, because if we have like something, if we make the positive case, right, and we show something like save successfully. Yeah. Save successfully. Yeah. Very weird word. Then we get a problem, I think, because now we are dependent on the scaffold, right? The one scaffold is on the add category screen and will show our snack bar. But what we will do is navigating.pop, which will bring us back to the old screen, if you remember. And this one will not have the same scaffold. So what will happen is we lose more or less the context. And what I assume is that the snack bar is immediately away. We will not see that.
What about if we at first show the snack bar after that's pop out?
We do that, as you can see here. But still, the problem is persistent because the duration of the what we could do is we could delay our navigator.pop. So we wait till we come out. Yeah, exactly. Or what we could do is writing this show snack bar not in that area, that we pop first, and after we have popped to the other screen, we show the snack bar. But we will see. I first want to test if this is the right point.
The question is if we need any snack bar in this case.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh?
You're right. Yeah, that is a good question. Do we need it actually? But this is a problem that anyway occurs sometimes. So just that you are aware of that. If you make that with a navigator.pop, you could lose your context to the scaffold. And this could sometimes lead to problems. Okay. But the error occurred works. And what I would like to add here is something like, what do I want to add?
Okay, the AKS, your accent is familiar, but I still can't figure it out. Where are you from?
Germany!
What's the question for Max?
Alright, so Twitter DM, I will check that, Ayush. Just give me a second.
Let me see.
He will not write you it's all for me. Yeah, here it is. Check this out. Here we go. And then for everyone who wants to make a deep dive, where is my link?
I will come back right now.
Yep, thank you. Builder versus global key, right? So, oh, I made a mistake. I should have made there a space, but that's fine. I think you will understand where it comes from. Thank you, Ayush. Thank you for your work. Null safety in Flutter. Have you any news to that so far?
No.
I think it's still in progress. Flutterist is writing about the null safety. I think the source code is getting right now moved because the Flutter repository currently has a lot of problems regarding to the build pipeline.
Oh yeah.
At least this is what I read the whole time. So
yeah,
I think there is a lot.
You had also some problem with your pull request, right? Because of that.
But it's still in review. I just think that the people don't have time. They work on more important stuff at the moment. Yeah. And I think to add some colors to an icon can wait. Okay. Submit is working. Our dashboard looks way cleaner. That's fantastic.
So Max, how does the snack bar works now?
Okay, so it's pretty easy. So if we add here rice now to our list, where we have rice already in place, we get an empty string, which and we need a better naming for that, right? I think when we save a category, the only problem with defaults is that the category already contains the category. So our categories list already contains a category in that place. So when we return false in that case with that, we could also return a text message. That would be also possible. But I'm not sure with that yet because this is at the moment the only problem that we could run into.
Yeah.
So what I will do is if this is false, right, then we always have the problem that the category is already existent in our list.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So, something like that. And with that, our users know what they have to do, because when here the name is already there.
Rice?
Yeah, rice. And we submit, then this is the problem that is shown. And what we could do is maybe add also like an icon to that. And what I think, I don't know if this is working now, but if I add here, for example, an emoji from Flutter, from YouTube, for example, something like that, we could maybe copy that and bring it in. No, that doesn't work. Okay. It was worth a try.
You wanted to add some emojis.
Yeah, but
a simple one, not from a serial or something like that.
No, I just wanted to add it as a string, so it was an ASCII test, but yeah, it didn't work, sorry.
Alright.
But what we can do is, as a content of the scaffold, we could just, oops. That Windows keyboard. So, remove that text, fantastic. So we wrap that in a row, and inside of this row we first show the text, of course, and in front of that we show an icon.
Yeah.
And that would be an arrow.
Do we have?
I think so. Icon dot arrow. Here. So just the arrow. I make that this one.
Joe Rose, I just joined. I am sure I have to start from part 1 to get what you are doing. But nice work so far. Thank you very much.
I think you don't have to start from part 1. It is just if you want to see the full glory of how we built all up, then you have to watch everything, of course. But for now, we usually do always a specific topic somewhere. And at the moment, we try to get the snack bar down here beautiful. And that looks already pretty promising, right?
Yeah.
So we have that red stuff. Now it would be just good that this one gets validated, right? That we see here now a red border.
Yes, and maybe also the input field be a little bit had more space.
You mean that? I thought this is a feature. All right. So let's make that.
I think it looks a little bit ugly.
Yeah. So what do we have here? The box decoration up here with that parts. There we have the text form field. How did we anyway? This is collapsed.
What is collapsed?
Input
direction.
Together. I think that has something to do with it.
Why did we do that?
I don't know. It solved the problem.
Yeah, it's much better. Do you know what?
No.
I think it's because of this blue line under this thing, under the input field. I think we can use something else actually.
I think we can just remove the borders, or? No?
I don't know. Try that. Is it about the border, or is it from...
I think the box decoration up here, that we can see here, takes care of making it round, right? I think what we could do is take the border.
Yeah.
But is there anything else that we could use? Like, don't show any border, enabled,
disabled border.
Did you see that?
Yeah, disabled border.
Look at that. This is now an input border. What?
None.
Does it exist? Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I saw that.
It really exists?
Use input border.
Alright, so let's have a look. We restart our app from time to time and let's see how it turns out.
You can use input border. So,
you see?
It seems that we are on the right.
Look at that. We have fire. Our API should deliver us food pictures, but we always get fire, flowers.
Or something.
Yeah. And this doesn't work.
This is, I think, it's with focus, right?
I think this is if the decoration is, if this input decoration is disabled. So if the whole text form field would be disabled, then the border would be none. What we have to do is for the enabled border, we have to use the same. So I try to copy that. And let's see what happens if we save. Nothing, unfortunately. Why is it not working? Do we actually work on the right space? Is the next question that I have. No, it's still a blue border. Huh. This is just the collapse part. But as we saw the last time, what we could do is, the question is, what do we want to improve?
Can you just dot and see what other options do we have?
Just collapsed. Ayush, the DevTown Discord server is just for the community of Flutter at the moment that I create. And I think the DevTown is from Raven. I think you know him also from Twitter. And he created this Discord server that we can use. So if we want to chat here for the live stream, or if there are any questions that are regarding to Flutter that I can answer, or if we have questions for me and Mahtab, then usually we do it here. But it's just an open community, so everyone can join, everyone can ask questions, and yeah, it's just to keep like development stuff together. And you find resources, windows, and all that stuff. I think Raven is there quite active on that part. Okay. Why everyone gets the same error message? I really have to test this this whole part. What I can do is I can just send you the link here. Voila. And then you can join. Maybe I also have to make a command like Discord. So I will do that quickly, because I think that's quite important. Oh, you see.
What's going on?
I'm amazing. I did that somewhere and I just entered
you are
it
amazing.
directly.
What's
Sorry.
going on? I'm amazing.
I was just
what else going on? I'm again amazing.
Don't ask questions. All right, fantastic. That worked fantastically. Sorry for that.
It's fine.
And
now we know how you
I'm
is.
completely off.
I'm also amazing. So
we have that.
Fine.
So we want to get rid of the border.
Yeah.
Still. So how can we get rid of the border? There needs to be.
Do you know what? I think we have somewhere else also a form, and we did all the stuff for that too.
You mean we can copy something?
Yeah.
That's always my favorite job. So we have that.
We have somewhere else. This is the add category. We had add recipe screen.
Yeah. So let's see. The add recipe screen is here.
Yeah. So
we have a box decoration, all right. Add recipe screen, drop down value image, init state.
And somewhere we should have an input
text form field down here.
Perfect.
So here we also use the input collapsed.
This is where it's coming from.
And we did nothing with it. So, but here the container is empty. You see, the container doesn't do anything. No, we do it here too.
Border
we have a strict height for that. Okay, so we changed that quite a lot. Is this a const? No. Okay. It was worth a try, so fair enough. So that means we can just do it the same way like here, right?
But actually we didn't have the best approach because of some hard-coded numbers.
Yeah, that's true.
The best thing would be to make them responsive and extract the whole widget.
Yeah, that would be a solution.
I would say.
At the moment, I think the best idea would be to create a widget out of this container. If
and
we know that
again.
this text form field is always our text form field, then we could reuse it. But the problem is the validator would be the same, the decoration. It's also not a good solution, I think. Because the text form field is already, it's not so much that we have to add here. So I would keep it wet in that problem. So we would repeat ourselves maybe, but it's just easier for now.
So do we have also here a container surrounded our input field? Or do we have here just input field?
Give me a second, I'm again off. Where are we?
Add category.
Add category, and then up here, right? So we have a container, and here we have the category decoration, and we would add this height here. And the
used
here, that would be collapsed, right? So let's see if it worked. Close enough. There are still some offs, but we get the point. This one is the height 50, or is it this one that has the height 50? Yeah,
I think the container. And I think we can have also text aligned.
Yeah, the alignment. We can try that too.
Yeah.
And it works.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Alright, so we submit now, and oh, look at that. We added an empty one.
How is it possible?
Because we don't check against it that it can't be empty. Right?
Yay!
Yo, you got it. You have the right spirit. That's perfect. You're on the right stream for that. Okay, so I think what we can do is the text form field has the validator. And inside of the validator, I immediately say this is it's not a value callback, is it called? I think.
Yeah, I think it's a value.
So then we have a value
it's
here
void?
inside.
No, it's right.
It is void because it returns void, but it gets a value inside.
A value inside, yeah.
And now we can say for this validator to check if the value is empty, right?
Yeah,
return value unequal null. No, empty string.
Value.empty.
You are so right, it's a string, right? Is empty. So if the value is empty, then what do? We return a text message with the error. So
it's a text message, or should you write a widget?
No. Please add a name. A category name.
Yeah.
And else, what do? Else null, right? Because then we are happy. Cool. So I did everything right.
What I'm wondering is if you can just the validator will appear directly in this field, or
yes.
So we don't need any text widget.
No. At the moment not. So this will just happen when we click here. And we click here, then usually there should be the validator. But at the moment, nobody validates it, right?
Yeah.
The cool thing is our snack bar is working.
Yeah.
But down here...
the best thing is that this category name is already exist.
Really?
Yeah, because
it's empty.
that is again empty, so we have already an empty category. Auto-validate is true.
Yep, and there is also a mode since new. And I have not taken a look into it, and I want to do that today.
Mode.
So what is the auto-validate mode? Disable always on user interaction. And this is
this is the new feature.
Yes.
And that now, if the user changes something in the input field, the validator will get placed.
Yes. So because at the moment we just check if the value is empty, but we will do that in... Whoa. What is the problem? Failed, assertion, auto-validate, false. Okay, because the mode is missing, right? Yes, okay. So we have to restart the application, I assume. So let's have a look.
Is this a new feature which released? I think who worked on that?
So auto-validate true, auto-validate mode null. Should not be used together. Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Ah, okay, so
One
we
of them.
removed that. Okay, fantastic. Was it Pedro who worked on that?
I think the Petro was
I think
there.
Pedro worked on that. So when I enter now something and I remove it again, you see immediately after we removed everything, we get the error message now. So
and if it's just before you try to add anything.
Before I try to add anything, it should work fine. So if I go here, it's beautiful.
And can you just click on the submit button?
It exists already.
Okay, so we don't get any error message in the field.
So if you think when we submit here, it will still work. It could submit at the moment because we don't validate it down here where we save.
We should do that.
We do it before. So what we need to do is getting somehow access to the text form field. So we would have now two possibilities. We could surround the whole thing in a form.
Yeah. We don't have it at the moment.
We don't have at the moment a form. It is just a text form field somewhere living in the air. And the alternative would be that we create a key for the text form field and asking for it.
We have here controller.
To be honest, I had never this problem that we have only one text form field. But what I would
Max
think,
is the picture for the category is also mandatory or not?
I think it is mandatory, but at the moment we don't check that, right?
Yeah.
So I think this column has to go into a form, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Using the form would give you the key. That could help. Yeah.
So we add here a form with the child. Yep. So now we have this expensive form global key, but I think this time it is fine because I don't see any other problem, any chance. And I think it's the form state. Yeah. I really have to learn that this, and we make that
private
form key exactly, which is from global key. So we use that down here in the form. Say key, form key, fantastic. And now down in the bottom, here in this case where we press the validation or submit.
The submit button.
Yep. Now before we even jump inside and call anything like save recipe or anything. What is gRPC?
Some video on gRPC would be amazing.
A high performance open source remote system. Remote procedure call system initialized by Google 2015. All right, that could take a while because I have no idea where I should start there. I've never heard about it, but fantastic that you pointed it out.
High performance open source universal RPC framework.
Simple service definition, works across languages, bidirection. Okay, that is everything somehow. Okay. Is there Dart even possible? Yeah. Okay. Is it really? Yeah. I don't know. Could take a while. Sorry, Sean.
What are you using for?
I don't know.
No, there's a question on Sean. What are you using that for?
In the meantime, I can check the form key.
Why do you ask me such a question?
Yeah.
Don't have any idea what's that.
So validate. We validate our form.
Talking to microservices.
Ah, that makes sense.
Amazing.
So we wouldn't do all that stuff. We don't even want to try to send something back if we don't validate everything, right?
Okay.
So we validate the part. If it is true, then we try to save successfully, right? If it is not the case, then we fail here somewhere in between and get our error that shows here. Do we want to have a notification like please add that? I think it is not necessary, right? Because if we don't enter anything and I press hit submit, it's anyway getting up here, so that's fine.
No, we don't need anything else. And if the user now add the same category name, we will see the snack bar.
Exactly. So that means
it's similar to GraphQL.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Okay, interesting. So
would you do me a favor, Max?
Sure.
And also please fix the width of our button, submit button.
The width? Yeah. It's anyway a good question why it's not full width.
I don't know.
So let's have a look. Most likely this is a problem with the column.
Yeah.
So
and
what is
cross
it?
axis.
Main axis, cross axis. Okay, so cross axis alignment. I removed, unfortunately.
Yeah. No.
So cross-axis alignment, and this should be stretch. So hopefully everything else looks still good.
Yes, perfect.
Fantastic.
Now I'm happy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This fast?
Yeah. I mean, you are amazing. I'm happy.
What I also will do is I will just center the main axis alignment, just to try it, because the other one is a bit... No, that looks ugly. Sorry. I had an idea once. Okay, no. But we have this part now ready, I think. We have the category up here. It looks quite good. We can now add. We have added some verification. I would add here a little bit of spacing between these two. This is okay. So that would be just inside.
We have
this
some.
padding here. I would add here a vertical. That would be like 10 pixels. Cool. And give that a bit of space, just that it can breathe. Good. So, I saw something else. And what I want to do now first is commit, because we made a lot of stuff again. So what I want to do is just committing that stuff. Usually, if you would work in a real project and not so funny with us too, you would really create multiple commits for all small steps that you do. But no, we have everything again. So what do we have? We moved something. We created a lot of different widgets. So we extracted widgets, right? And what did we do next? We added more validations.
Yeah, we add snack bars.
And we added snack bars. Snack bar on... just added snack bar, that's fine. All right, so there are some things that there are to-dos in the project. So it asks us if we can fix them. And what do we have? We save data on DB.
For recipe or for categories?
No, recipe it is. So it is still there, it will not change. And this delete will also be there.
There is a very interesting question there.
Yeah?
Yeah, the coding guy is asking, will you write tests for this app sometimes in future? We love to write tests for our application.
Actually, we can do that.
I think we can do that.
Should we start now? Do you want to see tests now? But before we do that, we can do that. What do you know? Let's do something.
Yeah,
because
create
I
a
love
poll.
that.
I think I will do.
You will do? All
Was
right.
it here or Max?
You have to go to the CloudBot somewhere down.
CloudBot here.
Exactly. Then you have polls on the top.
Yeah,
and
and
then you create that. All right. So what should we do next would be the poll. And what we would have is testing, I think. We could make upgrade of our pubspec.yaml because we have still some old packages or packages that we could upgrade. That could we do.
Then, wait. What was that? The first one is tests?
Careful, you have to add the command. Just testing, yep. Add the command test, T-E-S-T. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Add.
Okay.
Then the second one would be...
what do you want? You said something right now?
The pubspec.yaml upgrade, so upgrade of packages.
Yeah.
At your time, I'm looking good. So packages, or pub.
Pub. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Then we would have the option to work on more features. For example, we could add now the recipes into the categories. That would be cool. Then what would be also a good option would be finally replacing all these images up here so that we have beautiful images and static images for some of them. So that means like up here we would have an image that makes actual sense and not a destroyed egg with some tomato and whatever. It is. Look at that. I can't do anything. All right. So yeah, I think that's it for now.
Okay. So guys, your turn. Done.
Cool. Start.
And here we go. Start. Cool.
And if you have never made a poll with us, you see now the Streamlabs is calling for action. And what you have to do now, look at that, Flutterist makes it perfectly. He added already a vote with exclamation mark, vote, and then he gives the one of the 4 possibilities like test, pub, add recipe, or images. And it looks like we have already 2 votes for testing. That's good. But the cool thing is we have already reached a lot today. We cleaned up our application, we made it a bit smaller, created widgets for that, and animations to the pages. Yeah, it's also a good option, that's true. The question is, all right, so I think tests it will be, right? Oh yeah, so many tests.
Guys.
Okay. That's good, because I anyway have to learn testing more and more, because I want to work more in the Flutter repository, so you are doing me quite a favor if we're doing tests.
And I think what we should do is write some unit tests and also some widget tests.
I think we don't have even so much functionalities that we can test with unit tests, but most of them will be widget tests that we can do at the moment. At least I tell that now, but I see, for example, save category, which absolutely can be a unit test. Also, the app provider most likely has a lot of stuff that can be in a unit test. Also, where we have to mock all that stuff. Do we have any time for making tests? Oh yeah, nearly an hour. That's fantastic.
45 minutes at least. And till now we have 5 votes, and everyone is for testing.
I can read 1, 2, 3.
I have to write tests as I write code, otherwise I never get 100% coverage. Never get to writing all the tests.
You really want to try to get 100% test coverage? I think that makes not so much sense, actually. I think a lot of companies have multiple ways there, but 100% is really crazy to reach, because you have to test also stuff that makes not so much sense to test. But yeah, I think the poll system is a bit broken, right? Because I can
we can see
1,
here
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 votes.
I just refreshed the page, but I have still 5 votes.
Alright, you know what? I grabbed quickly a cup of coffee. Just a second.
How is going with the Chingo program? Pretty good, but when we are aware of a problem at the moment from the Chingo website, that unfortunately the sign-up page is somehow broken. And we know that the Chingo guys are working on that problem. Could you sign up to this Explorer program? It's so cool. Could you do that? Or we are also too curious if any of you guys already sign up to this program. Please let us know. We prepared a lot of stuff for this Explorer program, and if everything is going well, we will continue to bring much more out. Congratulations, you have been accepted into Chingo Explorer cohort session. Amazing, so it sounds great. What program? So you AKS, you don't know what we are speaking about. And we started a collaboration. We started with a collaboration. Okay. We started a collaboration with Chingo. Chingo is an online platform where developers from all around the world can come together and create and build amazing projects together. And till now they had different programming languages and frameworks such as Angular, React, and much more. And we started a collaboration with them for Flutter. So we brought Flutter to Chingo.
Hello everyone.
And here, as Max show you, we create already a video for you guys to let you know what is Chingo, how you can sign up for Chingo program, and what you can achieve with this Chingo.
Yeah, but as far as we know, the link is still broken, right? So you can try that quickly, but I think hopefully this evening is it... whoa, that was a mistake. I hope this evening it will get repaired or something. So hopefully then we have better news for you. Else we will get you informed as soon as we have there any chance to come back to that.
So actually Max and I both joined this Chingo cohort last year.
Yep.
And we have amazing experience with them. And for example, this YouTube channel that Max started in January, and after that I joined him, was also one of the ideas which we got from the Chingo. So it's pretty amazing. We can just suggest you to join them.
Yeah, and also we had like blog posts that we wrote the first time. We started with Chingo things on YouTube. We had also like talking with other people suddenly.
Yeah, and we came to the Twitter. To be honest, I didn't know about Twitter, that the developers are so active on Twitter. So that was all benefits that we got from Chingo.
Yeah, so there is a lot. No, they are not really a sponsor. We are making it for free at the moment, so that is why the whole part is for you free. They wanted to work on this collab, so they had the idea to create this Explorer program, and they and we asked them if we can help them there, so that you guys can have a fantastic experience and learn something from that, and also come into that benefit from the Chingos like we did. So if they would be our sponsors, you would have to pay for it. Sorry.
And we will announce it before we do that.
Absolutely.
Like that.
So if there is a sponsor, you will get always a very big information from us. Hey, there is a sponsor from us, and let's work with them. We work with them together.
Yeah.
All right. So testing. I hear a lot of people.
Yeah, then have to pay. Yes, exactly.
So we have a lot of people who are talking about testing, right? I see 6 minutes is left.
We and I will close the poll so that we can all see the result of that. In the meanwhile, you can just grab your coffee. And we will see that now. You can no longer vote on this poll. The poll is closed, and I hope that we can see right now the result of this poll. Let's see.
Right, here I am.
Completed.
So, how much coffee I drink? Ooh, I can't count it. I think 3 cups a day or something. So one in the morning.
Yeah, but not so much actually. Yeah. I think.
And I remove also the caffeine, which is a bit boring, but I do that.
So testing was the most voted option. Cool. 100%, and now we should start with that.
All right, so it's 4 o'clock and we can have time. So what is testing? Testing, we have like 3 or 4 different categories of testing. One is the unit test. Unit tests are trying to accomplish the test like small function like this here, for example. And it tries to get all the information that happens inside and tests them if it is correctly done. So if we change it in the future, we run our test, and usually we do test-driven development, or I do that usually if I'm in a project. That means first I write the test, let it fail, and then we fix the test.
Okay.
Of course, we don't do that in home projects, because why, right? Only people are watching us and want to learn something.
Yeah.
So unit tests are the smallest possible way to create testing. The second level is functional testing, and the third level would be end-to-end testing.
Okay.
So functional testing would be our widget tests that we know, right? And then comes the integration tests, which are running the most of our application and tests also APIs and stuff like that. All right. So the next part would be we add here in the test all the directories that we have up here, because usually you want to match them one by one. Right?
Okay. So should we just create directories which have some functionality and logic, or do you normally add all directories to your test?
I only add them where I have something to test, because there is also a benefit.
Okay. So Flutter said, I'm also waiting some video from you for debug console. Really?
For me?
Yeah,
debug
I don't
console?
know.
Could be. Is there?
Do we have this topic on our list?
Is that in my document? So like doc streams or doc open doc video. If that is inside of that, then yes, I absolutely have to take a look into the debug console. Sorry for that. So, but what I can see is the categories model, we have actually some functionality, right? We have this operator created. I don't even know if we can test that easily, but what I want to do is I want to try it.
Okay.
So inside of models, I create now a file, which is called category model.test.dart. So hopefully that is right. No, it's not. It's underline test and then .dart.
Okay.
So we replace that.
I'm writing down. Amazing. So this is gonna be another topic for us.
Exactly. So inside of a test, we have actually like a main function, right? So this starts completely from fresh.
Yeah.
So if we take a look into main, you see we have the main function here, And inside of a test, that should be completely separated by all logic, by all computing code that you have already. So we have here a new main function, which is completely by itself. So, and this is already a test, actually. So fair enough. Now the testing part comes into play, because if I'm searching for pub.dev and search for test, which is always important, we have that part here. And here comes writing tests, running tests, asynchronous tests, and so on. And these tests are now Dart tests, so unit tests. Really has nothing to do with widgets, has nothing to do with anything with widgets or Flutter. It has only to do with Dart, actually. And this is the test framework that I'm using here.
Do we need to install anything, Max?
No, because what is with the testing framework of Dart, it is already included in the testing framework from Flutter. And so if you take a look here inside, I don't know, yep, we can do that. But I don't see it there. Okay, but it is already included, so we don't have anything to add.
Perfect.
So, and now the thing's getting a bit weird. So now we have a group. This is a function, this here, that we can call, and it gets a description and a function inside. So the description is pretty easy. Usually the first group inside of a test is the same name like the subject that we want to test.
Or like the function or method that we want to.
No, the group will be in the first group should always contain the name of the class that we have. So in our case, it is category model. Just that we know where we are.
Yeah.
The body is the function or testing function itself, right? So, and as you can see, the last parameter that we can pass into it is a name parameter called skip. So you can guess what skip does.
Skip will skip the test.
Correct. And all tests that are inside of a group. Because group is like a container that contains multiple tests. All right. The good thing is about this approach is a group can contain also a group, can contain a group, and so on. Yeah?
Yeah.
But also a group can contain a test. And here it's the same thing. We have a description. That is usually what we want to test, and the body which contains the test now. So the description starts usually with a should. So should do should do So I I add that like this here, and the body will be just an empty function body. So this is the plainest test ever, right? So this is more or less what we want to have as a beginner.
So till now we have actually 3 functions in each other.
Correct.
A main, a group, and a test.
Yes, the main function is necessary to start up the tests, right? Group is to understand, okay, this is a collection of tests, and test is the test itself. There are more functions that are important, but 2 of them are actually that important that I have to point them out. The first one is called setup. Setup is taking just a function body and will be executed before every test. So that means when I, for example, add that here, and we just make a print inside here and say before test, this will be executed before this test is executed. And it will be executed before the next test that we create should. I just write it like this, and the body here inside. Okay.
Yeah.
So this will be executed before this test and before this test. So with that, we have the possibility to mock data. So that means we can now create objects that are not empty, but they have like the possibility to mock something, which are not the actual object, but representations of them. We'll come to that a bit later. But what is important here is just that we have now the option to, with the setup, we can create our subject, for example, for every test new, because we want to have it always empty. So what is our subject? Subject is the element that we want to test on. So I call that usually up here, subject, and this is in our case a category model. Cool. So now we have to import that, because this is what we want to test. And inside of the subject, this is now empty, right? But before we go into any test, we want to create a new category model.
Yeah.
So, and important here for us is we want to always create a complete new category model. So for this, we have to pass some things down, like for example, the name is necessary. The image URL not so much, and the ID also not, but the name is absolutely mandatory.
And which function do we want to test now?
In my opinion, the only function that makes sense to test is that down here, right?
Okay.
So because that is the only thing that we really can test, because the other things are attributes and they are not useful to test because they are...
And everything which is related to Hive is already tested, right?
No, absolutely not. Everything related to Hive, or you mean with the generator?
Yeah, I mean with the generator.
Yeah, the generators part are getting tested somewhere else. And if we jump here inside, there is this Hive type from Hive. And you ask if they are tested. I have no idea. This is the honest answer, because what we have to check if this is tested, we had to jump inside of the Hive package itself and have to search for tests.
Okay.
Here we can't see them, or I can't see them at the moment, so I would say it's not tested, but it could be that they are just not delivered as pub.dev, which would make sense because you don't want to have tests here, right?
Yeah.
But if I jump now, for example, here to pub.dev and search in that case for Hive, I'm just doing that right now. If this is going too far, please let me know. We go to the repository. And if we take a look here into Hive, we will find the test folder. And they tested this stuff already. So we don't have to test all the generators that are below that, right?
So we should just take care of our functions.
Correct. It's always about our stuff that we create, because we have to make sure that our stuff is working, right? And we don't really care if someone else's stuff is working, because we really depend on them. That's what we say always with depending on something, right? Okay, so we give that category model a name, and this can be now anything because it is our test, right? So we can call it test, for example, or test category, just to try something. And here we print before the test. I think we can leave that for now. And in the first test, what we want to test actually is the testing operator, right? So we want to test this equal operator. So equal operator equals only the name. So this is our first test. We want to make sure that it equals the first name.
Okay.
So how can we do that? We could make an expect. And expect is a function that gets also two parameters, and it has two name parameters. The first one is an actual. So this is what the result is at the end. Okay. Right? When we executed something, this is what we receive. Then we get a matcher. This is what we expect from the whole part to get from
our test.
Then we have reason and a skip again. The reason is if this test is failing, we can give our developer friends a real understandable message. Hey, your code is not working because the operator message does not work like you expected it. So that could be someone changes the method, or you change the method and suddenly it doesn't work anymore, right?
To get some helpful errors.
Yes. So the actual part is if we call subject, and can we even call the operator? No. So how can we call this operator? And this is a good question. And for this, I have to understand what I'm doing. So we jump right into this operator here. We can't. Okay. To that override. No. This comes from, I think we do that with contains, right? If something contains that other thing already, right?
Yeah.
So what we will do is, instead of making this expected, we know that we can use, remove that for now. So we know that we can use that equals sign if we have a list of subjects, so a list of category models, and ask for contains something. So for that, we have to create now this list, right, with some of the elements. Like, for example, I create a list of category models. And this will be an empty array for now. And I create multiple of these category models here. One of them has to be exactly the same, because this is one of the tests that I want to do. That the name here inside is equal to that creation that we have already. And now if they are contains inside, then I want to get a true, right? So should, and I think we can then rename this. operator should contains should return the right
category model name
parameter. I'm not sure here because we have not finished it yet, but we know now this category models, right? No. Category models dot contains, and now we pass down any object, and in our case we pass down the subject itself.
Okay.
And this contains function will now use that equals equals operator to check all the subjects here inside with the subject that we give inside. So every category model will be checked with that. You remember this other that we created. So this here is now the subject that we give inside, and it will be checked against this here to equal them. And the name will be tested here, nothing else. So what do we return now when it is equal? We return true, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, we will return false.
So we expect now from that this part here, our actual, returns true, right?
Yeah.
So we need now a matcher, and this matcher is true.
Yeah, it's true. I think it's good.
Was it is true? I'm not so good with these matches, but I think it is true. Is that a matcher? Yeah. So it is a matcher, and it asks now this thing here needs to be true. So the category models contains a subject.
Okay.
So what we can do is the list contains the subject. So this is our first test, but this is not a good English. I have to think about it still. And the other thing is list does not contain our subject.
Do we want to at first run the test to see how it's
That sounds good. So one option is we can just run it here, right, with the IntelliJ. If you don't have the smartness of IntelliJ, you can just go down here in the terminal and then I think say dart test. Nope. What was it?
Flutter test?
Flutter test. Aha, here we go. Well done. So the tests are running now. Usually they should be pretty fast. So I'm confused why it takes so long. And crash. Okay, so we get a lot of infos. But actually what happens is everything is getting executed. And we see the category model test should have things looking good because this +0 shows us no test is successful. One test is successful, 2 tests are successful, and you see every time before we run into the next test, we execute the before test.
This is the sprint function that you
Exactly.
wrote.
And now we have here a widget test, and it seems that we have somewhere an exception caught. Oops. So
yeah, okay.
Yes, so we drop here in some problem because our test widget test seemed to have an exception.
Yeah, I think this is the default test from our boilerplate.
Exactly, and the problem here is we don't have all that stuff at the moment, so this of course can't work like that.
Yeah.
And to the question that we have in the chat from Sud here,
what is the question?
He is asking if I can tell something about JSON serialization. The easiest answer is I think I created already a video for that and a blog entry. So you can go to our website. There you will find more infos about the package JSON serialization.
And I can now send a link to the video.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Then I don't have to do it. And I can go here further with the testing. Okay, but now this one is true, right? So, and just to make sure that it is also really true, we want to make the negative case here. So what I will do is adding to that test category here, and I will remove this category. So it does not contain it. It will have any other name. So like another name. So and if I run the same test with is true, it should fail now, right? Because this is the solution that we actually want. And what I will do is just execute it here inside. Why is it not working now? Right click and run. And you see the test is now false because we expect that the test returns true, but actually it returns false, which is fair enough. So it is exactly right. So we say here is false, which is the matcher again. And with that, we have now the access to that part, and we let the test run again. And with that, we have our first successful test written.
Amazing.
The only thing is that worries me is the naming.
Yeah.
And this print here.
The list should contain the subject, right?
Should return true if subject is in list. So same thing for here. Should return false if subject is not in list. So,
yeah, okay.
Cool. And with that, our equals equals function is tested.
Perfect, okay.
All right. So that's of course something, and we have made our first test, so great. But this is of course a unit test, right? Because very small and pure Dart. It's always the easiest. But let's think one further. Let's test a widget, okay?
Yeah.
For that, let's take a widget that we like, that we worked maybe on today. So for that, I will create again a folder, call it screens. And inside of that folder, we create our dashboard. And in dashboard, which screen did we add today? Let's add take something small. Let's start with the category delete dialog, right?
Okay.
So this part here. So I will add here in the dashboard, sorry, a new file.
Yeah.
Category delete dialog test Dart. And make sure that you have always that underline test at the end of the file, because with that you declare it for Flutter and Dart that it is a testing file and you want to execute that.
Okay, so and they're gonna be related to each other.
Exactly, so they will know where to find these things. Okay, so we have again a main function as always, and now I want to show you a trick that I would highly recommend you. It is in Mac OS, it is Command J, and with that you have this access of these smart editings. And you see there is no suggestion for that. Because what I don't like is always creating groups, then inside of that group at least one test and so on. This could be predefined, right? So that when we have a new test, then we want to be a bit faster.
Okay.
And inside of IntelliJ, and I'm pretty sure this is also existent for Visual Studio Code, there we have this part with Dart and Flutter. And what I want to add here is a new code snippet for that, a called live template.
Okay.
And these live templates are that would be amazing.
Flutter said, I will design an app logo for your recipe app. Is it okay for you? It would be more than amazing.
Yeah.
Go for it. We will be so happy.
So I called it abbreviation group. Test. And I can give a description, test group.
Ah, yeah, okay, so.
And this is just a very small name. You see that's like etar, etar, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
And the template text. And the template text looks like something like this, right? With all these dollar signs, we declare like variables that we can then use. So here in the group, it would look like something, group, then we have our description, right?
Yeah.
So we make a dollar sign, description, make another dollar sign, and you see now on the right side that add a variable is possible. So I can click that and can give a default value, which is in our case empty string.
Okay.
And the expression will be just like that. So, and the other thing is our function, right?
Yeah.
And we know that always a function is inside with a test, right?
Yeah.
You can tap that.
At least one test.
At least one test. And in this test, we have another description. And the first one is the group description. And the other one would be the test description. And we add, of course, another part of this.
Yeah.
So, and then that's it. I don't need more, right?
Okay.
And another thing that I would like to add here, if I'm on it already, I can create a second that we call test itself, which is the test. Yeah, the test. I think that's good enough.
Yeah.
And then inside of here, we just have the same thing with the description. Test description. And the method itself. Voila. And with that, we can now be sure, apply, when we go down here again, and I press now Command J, I search for test, for example.
For group?
It doesn't work.
Maybe you should restart the ID, I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
Because we have this and test.
No applicable context defined. That will be Dart.
Ah, yeah, okay.
I think that makes sense. And the same thing for the test, of course, will be Dart. Cool, save, fantastic.
Ooh.
And here we go. And now I can just enter, and you see where we are writing. We get now this different parts. But I see I have made a mistake. So what I want to add here is inside of that group, it should be always surrounded by strings, right?
Okay.
This should be always inside of a string, because else we get these weird problems that I have to write somewhere else. Put that inside. We add again our group, and you see we have more strings. And that's fantastic, because now you know these automatic jump into the right place where we want to write something. So this is our group description, right? And you see already that it's red, and if I press now tab, we jump right now in the test description. So, and I highly recommend you that for testing writing, because you see it is a lot of code that you can always repeat, and with that we save that. That's another mistake that I made. Here I didn't do it. Yep. Fantastic. Check.
It's really good, Max. Thank you.
Very welcome. Some stuff you have to learn, right? If nobody tells you that, you get always problems, and it really reduces your efficiency. So that is now the category delete dialog. So, and the test for that is should show widget.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So first of all, just that we have some basics, we can then go further and deeper all the time. Okay, so the first test should be very plain. I just want to create a widget. And because the whole group will use the same widget more or less, but with different words maybe, so we want to pass something different down, we will create a method on top of this group.
Okay.
This is how it is usually done in the Flutter team. So you will find that there mostly.
Okay.
They will have always on top a function that they will call, and it will return a widget. And we want to make a widget test, right? So we need a widget actually.
Could you please show us at first the widget that we want to create to test?
Sure, with pleasure. Okay, we go to the emulator, and the widget that I want to test is this one. So everything that we see here. And I would like to test the title here, delete category, is already also delete category. So if someone is changing it, he needs to change the test.
Okay.
Then I want to say that the text inside has to be this. Then I want to test that we have exactly 2 raised buttons here. One is red and one is not red.
Okay.
So
do we also test the container? Well, I mean the background, this thingy, dialog. So
we can test everything of this dialog, whatever we want. The question is how much makes sense. So for example, does it really make sense to check against every letter inside of this?
No.
No, because whenever we have a translation like multi or internationalization, we will maybe lose that focus, right? Where do we get the strings from? We can only check against that this object exists and can pass down something into the internationalization.
Okay.
But the unit test should, or the widget test in that case, should be like globally, okay? Something like, okay, if I open that up, this and this should be inside. And
okay.
Okay. So how do we get to that? First, we need somehow our widget that we want to test, right?
At first, create a whole widget.
So what can we do?
Do we have here also setup?
So I use that test. Yes, we have in the group the setup, but we have here test, right? But this time we have a widget test. You remember? So that we have test widgets. It is a bit different because now we get here a tester, which is from type widget tester. That is the widget tester callback. And I don't know the type anymore from the tester, so I have to jump inside. I'm sorry for that. It is the widget tester. Easy enough. So And this allows us now to create widgets and pump widgets, so to say. So let's say we can say tester dot, and then we can pump widget. And with that we can pump any widget. So that is pretty cool. And this is how the widget testing is actually working. So let me check if I find somewhere a good one that I can copy that. So Flutter testing. I go to pub.dev, and there you also see the 3 levels of testing, like unit, widget, and integration. We are now in the widget testing.
Yeah.
So let's go down here and let's have a look into the introduction. Because down here we will see, okay, we need the dependency to Flutter test, which is usually already there.
Yeah.
But you never know, right? And where I wanted to check something. And down here we have the create a test widgets.
Yeah.
So here we call that method. We get our widget tester, right?
Yes.
And it's an asynchronous function. I forgot about that. That is important. So something like that. And you see it's getting now green. That makes sense. And now we have to build the widget that we want to use, right?
Okay.
So we pump the widget itself with the widget name that we want to have. And the good thing is now we don't have to create a whole widget tree or anything. We can, but we don't have to. We only pump the widget that we really are interested in.
Okay.
And all the things that are necessary for this widget. What I mean with that, we will see in a second. So for example, we pump the widget, as I said, and now we can pass a widget inside, which is our subject in our case. So the category delete dialog. And we create that. And now we have like a widget tree inside of here. So first of all, you see it's getting yellow because we need a category model to make it run. If we don't have a category model, or we would pass null inside, what we can do now, then it would make a mistake most likely. We get an error, or it looks differently, like it should look, or something like that.
Okay.
But with that, we have a widget tree, and if we run that now, something will happen. We get a message, right? So because we pump that widget, and it could be that it is now broken.
Yeah, and because it's an asynchronous method, maybe we should wait somewhere.
We can do that. I think in front of here we can test. Wait for the test. That's true. So let's do that. Okay, but still we get some problems because material locations are not there. So that means we don't have anything like a material app on top of it. And that makes it pretty difficult to let that thing run because it depends on this material app. So that means this category delete dialog needs a material app somewhere. So what we can do is just wrap it in a material app.
Okay.
And fair enough. And this has not a child, it has home. But still, with that, we can work and the test is running, or at least a bit further running. So we can retry the test. And I want to make it green because we don't have an expect. And when we don't have an expect, actually, it always will be green.
Yeah.
So we see we don't expect anything, and the test says, okay, fine, we are here, everything is done.
Yes, perfect. Okay.
So, but now we want to test something, right? At the moment we want to expect something. So if we expect something, and actually what do we expect? When we run that whole thing is, for example, we can ask the tester that has now our pumped widget, right? Tester dot, a bit confused, there should be more.
I think because you are outside of the
all right. Good catch, thank you. So tester dot, and here we have now the possibility to find things element finder, exactly. So first element, fling, we have all the possibilities here, get the size of an element.
Ah, okay.
So we can really get everything from it. We can even search for other widgets inside of the widget tree to receive.
So for example, we need here a title, so it's just going to be a text widget most likely.
For that, let's check quickly the widget itself.
Yeah.
So we jump here inside, and here inside we have this list body.
And we have title, look at that.
Oh, we have title, and this comes from the alert dialog, right?
Yeah.
So we can search for a text somewhere that has delete category inside.
Shouldn't we start from top of that? For example, that we need at first an alert dialog.
We can test that. The question is, what do we want to test?
No, you're right.
Do we really want to test that it exists? Yeah. I think that is pretty clear.
Yeah.
It is more, is it visible? Has it an elevation? Is the text correctly? Does it have 2 buttons as actions?
So we need a title, the main text, and the 2 buttons.
Probably. We can test that, yeah. So what I would do is creating a finder. How does the finder work? I think, is it big letter? Don't know anymore. So let's check out the documentation for that. And we have that pump searching for our widget using the finder. And here we find that there is this find method somewhere. And this find method can search for text, for example.
Yeah.
So that would be the first test that we can do. So we use our find, right? This one. And this finder can search for text. And the text would be delete category. So, and the thing is, if we find inside of the tester get element or something like that, or first element, with this finder, so this one finds now an element from this finder that we passed inside, and it will return an element, so T in that case. Else it will throw a state error.
Okay.
Wow, sorry. So that means when we have this first element, we receive now somewhere in our tester pumped widget, so this part here, this deleted category. Right?
Okay.
Now we can expect that this part here is, what is it?
Is true again, or?
Is true? I don't think so. Because first element will return something, right? So we get T back from it.
So it's gonna be a widget.
It will be a widget. So what we can do is and then we can say it will not be only a widget, it will be a text widget.
Okay.
So this is my matcher. So I expect that whatever I receive here from the first element is a text widget. So let's test that. It could be that it's still broken, but let's have a look. I'm pretty happy that we make some tests for the app.
Yeah, this feels good.
So what do we get? We expect an instance of text, but what we did get is a stateless element with text category. So good and bad. So we received something, but unfortunately not exactly what we thought. We get something else, like a stateless
element.
Yeah. So we get a little bit more. Maybe I should not search for first element, but for first widget.
Yeah.
And this could.
But this is a title. Title is not widget.
Is it not a text?
It's a
I think that title that we pass inside is a text.
Okay.
We can check that here inside. So you see, it is a title, but it is a text then at the end.
It's a text widget.
Which makes sense because we can't have anything else. So how can I rerun? Command R. No. What was that?
I don't know. Jesus. Okay.
So command R is not the case. So
command R.
You want to do that? But I see here option shift R. That works. Okay, so test is clean. We found a widget. Fantastic. So what would happen if we delete now this this title, for example? So if we run now our test once more, it should fail, right?
Actually, yes.
And with that, we can nearly test everything, right? The widget is one part that we can test, but we can go even further. We can test.
Let us see what was the message.
The message, no element, and it is a state error. This happens because if we jump back into our test, here, then we see that the first widget, we jump here in the documentation, it will throw a state error if the finder is empty. So if the finder does not find anything, we throw a state error and we get the error here in that place.
So, but actually the error message is not so helpful, or?
Depends. Yeah,
I mean,
but what we could do if you say you don't like that error, what we can do is we pass down into the expect, the reason, where we say now, okay, there is
title
no
is empty.
Yeah, or title the title is not, and the only thing that it is not is delete category. So I hope we don't make this app multi-language, because then we will get this problem that we have to test that somehow differently. Okay, so we test if this is a text widget, which is true, and then when it's not true, and we can test that once more by removing it. So, and if we rerun our test, now we should get this reason visible here inside. Make it a bit bigger. But you see, we get here still the no element, and whoever can read that is very quickly with finding the problem. But down here, the test description should show a widget. Test failed should show a widget. Where is it now? Did I promise too much?
No, go up. What is the plain name? Should show a widget. Oh no.
No, I think I promised too much. The problem is that the test is failing before he can send the reason. Because this here is dropping an error and nobody is catching it.
Yeah, okay.
So with that, it is failing without, where it's harsh failing more or less.
Okay.
The test is like throwing an error, and with that, everything is gone. But anyhow, I think that is fair.
It's good enough.
Yep. So what I will do is I will bring that back here in the app. So this is fine. Our run is running. And I think that's it for today, right?
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock.
Perfect timing. So what I will do is I add these tests now to our to our repository.
Yeah.
And I think we do the next time more testing.
Design is ready.
Already? Wow. I think the easiest way would be by TEFtown, if you can send it there, or via Twitter, of course.
No, the Twitter is, I think, better.
Yeah, Twitter
it's
is
gonna
better.
be something.
All right.
Secret for everyone else.
So next week we will reveal the new design for the logo. I hope it looks good.
For sure.
Fantastic. So something, we have a fly or anything here in the house.
All the time.
I get poked. Sorry for that. First of all, I would like to remove this widget test here.
The testing part was pretty intensive for me. I have to get into testing now. Yeah, go for it. And I think maybe if you review again or watch again this last part of our video where Max explained everything.
Sorry for that.
In one time. No, it's fine.
It was maybe a bit too fast. Tomorrow I hope I get finished my video for testing. So that will be the first video for the testing series in any case. So maybe you will learn there also more.
And I think in the future seasons, we will also try to write more testing. So that I can also learn more, because I have also to learn. And you guys will also learn better and better.
And yes, AKS, I will continue with Flutter for Web. So that will be most likely the Wednesday and Saturday streams. And so there are plans for everything somewhere.
There are so many topics and so many side projects that we can work on that. I think we can't be finished with all topics. So amazing, guys. I would say thank you very much for joining us. That was again amazing. Thank you for contributing and everything. And also thank you for the logo Flutteries in advance. Oh, Max, after we got your logo, we should also give you some points.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Remember me.
Please remember us. And you too. Have a great day. Thanks for streams. You're welcome.
I want to push. Why can't I push?
So, we will still wait a little bit for Max.
Sorry. I need more time.
No worries. We have a warning. Unused variable, Max.
Yep, I removed that already.
Okay.
It's already gone. Just wanted to push. Alright. So thank you very much for joining. That is fantastic. I love to make the streams. It makes so much fun all the time, especially with Mahtab, because then we can talk a bit more.
Yeah, we can talk more.
Alright.
And guys.
That's it.
Have a great week. Take care of yourself.
And enjoy the rest of your day.
See ya.
Max from Twitter.
Max from Twitter.
I think so. Cool. Anyhow, thank you. See you, guys.
Yes, send it please.